Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, the put-to-call ratio is at, let's see, 0.75. Really not that high. I mean, it's high, but over the last couple weeks, it's not that bad. So, as far as the economic calendar for the week, let's see. Tomorrow, Monday, don't see anything. The Tuesday, the 12th, don't really see anything. Wednesday, the 13th, we have core CPI, CPI monthly, CPI yearly. That could be a big one. Thursday, core PPI, retail sales, PPI monthly, retail sales monthly, and unemployment claims. So yeah, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be big number days. Friday, Empire State Manufacturing, Friday morning. So yeah, and consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. on Friday. So yeah, we have Wednesday 8:30 CPIs, Thursday 8:30 core PPI retail sales, and Friday 8:30 8:30 Empire State Manufacturing and consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. So we have big numbers coming in on Wednesday and Thursday. So the market could chop and wait for the numbers to come out. But sometimes the market does like to move before news drops. Sometimes it's leaked. Sometimes people just get nervous and just sell. So we could see something. We'll just have to see what happens. VIX VIX is very, very low. I mean, it can go lower. It can go underneath 13, but it does not like to stay under 13. To me, the closer it gets to 13, the more likely I'm less inclined to take calls but then again, we've seen times where VIX will get to low 13s and VIX will just stall out and just chop and not make new low a day and SPY rage $2 or $3. So we've seen it. That can happen. So just be careful of that. Also, you can see there's a gap to fill on VIX. So from underneath 1360 to 1320. So it can fill a gap and get down to 13. So maybe we get a pop tomorrow on SPY, then we drop Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll have to see, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot not good right now, but what is happening in the economy, the market, this does not seem to care sometimes, but it will care eventually. It will catch up, but the question is when. So I'm thinking maybe pop tomorrow and maybe drop Tuesday or Wednesday or maybe even Thursday. We're going to get something this week, and it's probably going to be the inflation numbers. So that said, VIX has got a gap to fill. It can go down to 13, but VIX gets above 15, it could end up taking off. But I think that we're going to see probably some kind of pop tomorrow, make the RSI numbers cool off a little bit. So I would watch it over 447 for push 448, get a gap fill right there at 449, 450 is probably where it could stall out. If it does manage to get over 453, we could end up seeing a strong push to fill the rest of that gap over at 454, 455, and see 460 again. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening. I'm not anticipating that big of a move, but with SPY, you really don't know what it's going to do. So you just got to expect the unexpected. So but if it doesn't manage to pop, it ends up dropping out, watch it underneath 444 for push down to 440, 335, which is right down here, and 335. I guess underneath 335, we got 330, 325. We get a gap fill right here at 324, 420. I keep saying 325. Okay, maybe redo this again. I keep saying threes for some reason, but underneath 444 for push to 440, 435, 430, 425, 420. I would have thought at some point we would retest this 410 area, but we are having a head and shoulders on the daily. We've pointed this out since last week and get kind of like a sideways trend channel right here. Probably right around the neckline, could be right around the 440 area, 435 area. Get the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So if it does manage to break the 440, 440, 435 area, I can't speak right now, that we could end up seeing a drop at 430 or even lower. So we'll have to see. Something's going to happen this week. I'm going to imagine that it's going to be the inflation numbers. Maybe they come in hot. I don't know. Anything can happen. Sometimes the market gets bad news and just shrugs it off. Head and shoulders on HD, Home Depot. Get the left, the head, and the right shoulder. I was actually looking for a consolidation breakout last week, but it didn't really do it. It can still do it. So keep an eye out on two areas. If it does manage to get over 330, 333, watch for a push to the 335, 340. If it gets over this 335, 340 area, the head and shoulders is void, but if it stays underneath 333 and drops down to 325, head and shoulders could play out. So I'd watch it underneath 325 on Home Depot. So it's stuck in this channel. So, I mean, look at, this is what happened over here. We could end up seeing a repeat of this because it's right in the same area of this 333 area. So, but maybe it breaks out. I'd be watching both sides of this, 333 plus or 325 below that. So definitely keep an eye on that either way. Netflix. Netflix looks like it wants to pop. It did reject the 450 area. So get some inside days on, let's see, was this Monday? Yeah, this was actually not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We got 4 days in a row, 3 days in a row was inside of this big candle. So if it does manage to get over 450 again, we could end up seeing a push to 455, and it gets over 455. It's probably going to shoot pretty fast to 375, 380, which is this big area right here, which was over here on the weekly. I tested it right here and rejected it harshly, but if it gets up to that area again, who knows? Netflix could take off. Netflix is one that just likes to not really care what SPY is doing. So then you have all this drama with Apple, with China kicking it out and banning stuff with being government employees and stuff like that. We could see more hostile stuff with Apple. So it did have a big drop, a big gap down, but people went and piled in on puts. And whenever you have a big gap down, people have a tend to go jump in on puts thinking we're going to have massive continuation. Then you just see these massive green candles and they just like scratching their heads. Why? Because when you have these big gap downs, everyone, the herd mentality, the herd is going to jump in with puts. And when the herd jumps in with puts, you're going to see a short squeeze. So now we have seen the short squeeze. It didn't quite fill the gap. I mean, it could definitely come up there and fill the gap, but I'd be watching it underneath 176 to even 175. It gets below this 175 area. We could retest this 170 area, 171, 170 area, then 165. We just get some room to drop on Apple. Plus, we want to point out an inverted a cup and handle. You get a big cup here and a handle right here, so it does break below this 175. You could definitely see it play out on Apple. So Amazon is another one I keep an eye on. Amazon is just doing the same thing as Netflix. Was that Netflix? I'm already losing my yeah, it's doing the same thing as Netflix, where it's just channeling on the weekly right here. It's holding this 132 area, which is right here on the daily. So if it does manage to get over 140, we could end up seeing a pop on Amazon, push to 145, 150. 155, 160, 165. It's got a lot of resistance right here in the 155 area. So it could end up stalling out at 150, 155, but it's definitely primed for a nice pop. We got a symmetrical triangle on the weekly. You can see it right there. I can blow it up a little more so you can see it. You can see it right there. The bottom trend line is right there, and the top trend line is right there. So a symmetrical triangle, it's pretty much 50-50, but being in a strong uptrend, that it's leaning more towards the upside. So Disney, I'm looking at if he has that inside up day, dropped, went down, came back up. Definitely like this little bit of a pattern. If I get it to about 82, you can see a gap fill right here to 84. Basically every $2, 84, 86, 88, 90. 92. It doesn't really move that much. Netflix, but we had a strong day right here, but that was earnings, I think. Yeah, that was earnings. Doesn't really move that much. What is the range? Yeah, $1.50. It's just like Apple. It's too slow for me. But if you want a decent play, Disney's definitely one. If you want something more conservative, plus look at it's just riding this RCT trend line on the weekly. It just does not like being below it. So definitely strong support right here in the low 80s. So I think that we could end up seeing a move out of Disney. NVDA is another one. It had a strong weekly red candle right here. And when you have a strong weekly red candle, you have one right here. I'll blow it up a little more. You had one right here, but there was no continuation. But right here, continuation right here, we could see some more continuation. So I would watch it underneath Friday's low, 452 for push to 450. And this thing can move. Moves like $10 at a time. So we could see 440. I see a gap fill right here, 440, 430, 425, 420. You got 410 right here and 400. This thing has got major gaps to fill, but I don't think it's going to drop below 375 and fill that gap. So I would just 425, 420 is definitely in the cards if it does manage to break down underneath the 450 level. So keep an eye on NVIDIA. Really not too much to look at. A few plays here and there. We'll have to see what happens this week. I think everything is going to be dependent on the numbers on Wednesday and Thursday, and that will hopefully dictate where the market's going to go. But to me, I think we're gonna pop tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday. Then we end up dropping on inflation numbers. We'll have to see. But VIX is just way too low for it to. If VIX is at 13 or under 13 when inflation numbers drop on Tuesday, if VIX is underneath 13 or at in the low 13s Tuesday afternoon, I think that puts would probably be the way to go for the inflation numbers. But we'll have to see. Anything can happen. I'm not saying go out and buy puts. I'm just I like to wait for the news and trade the reaction to it. So that's going to do it for the watch list, and thanks for watching.